Lay in Open Rose Garden, an Adrienette Hanahaki alternate universe sequel series, Chapter 2. Hello, Kagami said when she slid into the seat in front of him. Adrien smiled at her. Hey, you're here, he said. She smiled back at him. Yes, a little late. I hope you do not mind, she said. Adrien shook his head. Oh, not at all, he reassured her. I have a friend who's always running late, too. She's busy a lot, he said, thinking of the amount of times Marinette had barely rushed into class on time. It was quite endearing, really. She always made an effort to be on time when they hung out, but on a rare occasion, he'd get a string of texts and apologies from her about how bad she felt about being late. Adrien sighed, still worried about Marinette. Alia hadn't called them, and it had literally been days. Nina was very much on edge. Adrien, is something wrong? Kagami said with a small frown. You appear to be lost in thought, she noted. Adrien sent her an apologetic smile. Yeah, sorry, I'm just worried about a friend. I think she's sick, but I'm not sure. And she hasn't texted or called in over a week, he explained. Kagami tilted her head to the side. That is concerning, she said. May I ask what friend? She asked. Marinette, Adrien replied. Kagami nodded carefully. Oh, I do hope she is doing well. I believe I had a class with her back in our freshman year, she said thoughtfully. Adrien hummed. I'm surprised you guys didn't become friends then. I don't know why, but I feel like the two of you would be quite compatible, Adrien said. Kagami gave him a small smile. You have said that before. You said that before I met her, she pointed out. Adrien laughed. Right. I don't think I was wrong, though, he smiled. Kagami shrugged. Yes, she is a nice girl. I am sure she's all right. Perhaps a bad fever took her down, she offered. Adrien nodded. Maybe, he pondered. I didn't bring her some soup a while ago, Adrien said idly. I don't know what else to do. Her roommate won't let us in, and since she hasn't told me anything, I'm guessing on what to do. Adrien sighed. Kagami smiled at him and reached for his hand, resting hers over his. He stared at it in the slightest amount of shock. You are such a kind person, Kagami said seriously. Adrien continued to stare at her bug-eyed. That is one of the many, many reasons I was so drawn to you. Your heart is made of gold, she continued. Adrien had no idea what to say. His hands felt a bit clammy and, oh God, was she gonna propose to him? They weren't even officially dating. What would he do? What was he going to do? Say no and run away? That can't be it. What would he do? I feel like we have truly become close in these past few weeks, Kagami smiled. What I am saying is, what are we? Will we truly be together? Adrien, I need to know if this is only a passing fling or something real. She looked up at him hopefully, and it made his stomach turn over in an awful way. Adrien had no idea what to say. Were they about to start dating? Did he even want them to? Maybe not. He was so confused and preoccupied, really. Adrien pulled a tight look. I don't know, he said honestly, hating the frown that appeared on Kagami's face. I don't know if now is the best time for us to start something. With Marinette being sick for some unknown reason, I'm not sure what to do, and I don't want to mess anything up, Adrien admitted, sneaking his hand away. Kagami looked at him with an unreadable look on her face. Adrien honestly felt awful. He didn't mean to hurt her. He was just a bit confused and unsure. Of course you don't, she said, but there was no trace of malice in her voice. Adrien winced anyways. You are worried about Marinette, are you not? Too much to think about anything else, she asked. Adrien let out a sigh and nodded, although he felt bad about how easily he was able to admit that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I can't give you a real answer. I'm really worried about my friend, Adrien said. Kagami shook her head. You do really care about her, she commented. Adrien nodded. Yeah, she's my best friend, he said. Kagami looked at him with deadened eyes, as if he misunderstood her. He wouldn't be surprised if he had, really. Adrien, she said seriously. You do not know what you want, she said. And Adrien hated the fact that he couldn't disagree with her statement. And I understand that, as irritating as that may be, and I do understand, as irritating as it may be, I do, she admitted with a huff. Her eyes, and in turn his eyes, darted towards their hands. They weren't even clasped, only barely on top of each other. She slowly removed her hand and folded it into her lap. I know what I want. I want to date you. I want us to be together. I want to be able to introduce you to my mother as my boyfriend. I want to marry you. I want to start a family with you. I know what I want. But you do not, she said, her voice steel. Or perhaps you do, but you just do not know it yet. However, I do not want to wait for you to figure it out. I am not going to hold my breath and wait till a chance strikes, she explained. If this is not for marriage, if this is not for forever, then I do not know what on earth we are doing here. It is frankly a waste of both of our times, and as you know, I am efficient with everything I do. Adrien stared at her, shell-shocked. Hold on. Were they breaking up before they actually and officially dated? He watched her wordlessly as she stood up and brushed off non-existent dirt off of her clothing. She looked at him and smiled in a small way. A really sad way, honestly. Her hand reached up to touch his cheek. Adrien swallowed and willed his eyes to not water. I really like you. I know that. But I do not think you know if you like me. It stings, yes, it does, but it is true. I will never hide from the truth. She leaned down and pressed a soft and fleeting kiss on his cheek. I do hope that you realize what you want. I do hope that you will be clear-minded the next time we meet, she said, before disappearing out the door without a word. Adrien continued to stare at the door. The bell chimes ceased and new customers walked in. He took a breath and looked down at the table. Her cup was still there. The coffee she had ordered right as she walked through the door. It was cold and it was full. She was planning to stay a long time. He looked at the emptiness on his side of the table. He didn't even plan on staying that long, not subconsciously at least. He didn't order a thing. Adrien sighed. His first breakup-ish kind of thing. Perhaps he couldn't decide what he wanted. At least not right now. But he knew he needed to go home. So Adrien stepped up and went out the door. Kagami was nowhere in sight. Hopefully this would be worth it. The hurt he gave her and the hurt he was feeling now.